In this video, we'll create a full Figma project from design to prototype for a personal website and blog. It's a redesign of my current personal website in Figma. This is a step-by-step guide. You can follow along and try to create an exact copy of this design. But I always find it useful to stray a bit away while following tutorials and create my own version. And use the tutorial as some sort of reference so that I finish the tutorial and create something original. You also find a file in the video description with the final design. We're going to use auto layout whenever possible. We're going to use components and variants, and to simplify things, instead of creating breaking points for every possible device width and height, we'll just work on 3 designs. One for a desktop device, one for tablet, and one for mobile. We will start from scratch. Go to figma.com to your drafts folder and press on new design file. Press on the F key to grab the frame tool and choose a desktop frame from the design panel. I will go for MacBook Pro. We will start by working on the landing page. So rename the frame to landing desktop. Here's the landing page of my current website. It has header, body, and footer. We're also going to add an image to it. So let's start by adding the image. Go to the shape tools and press on the drop down menu and press on place image. Select an image from your computer and press to place it. This is an illustration that I made in Procreate and exported as a PNG image, so it has no background. If you don't have an image on your computer that you can use, you can head to unsplash.com and choose an image that suits your design. It doesn't need to be a PNG image, it just helps with the background. To resize the image, select it, press and hold the Shift and Alt keys to preserve its original proportions and not mess it up, and resize it. Grab the image and drop it into our landing desktop frame. Continue resizing it if you need to. If your image is flowing outside of your frame, select it. Then in the design panel, fill options, click on the image, click on fill and change to crop, then crop the image to fit your design. Select the landing desktop frame. You can press on the I key to grab the eyedropper tool and choose a color from the image to set the background to. In my case, my image does not have a background color, so I'll just go for a black color. Next, we will work on the header. So we have the home button and we have the pages. Press T to grab the text tool and click outside of the frame. Write the text of the home button and press Shift A to add an auto layout frame around it and name this frame home button. Press I to grab the eyedropper tool and select a color from the image. Press Enter to select the text inside the home button. Change the fill color to white. Change the font to Montserrat. The text size to 30 and black. Select the home button auto layout frame and at the auto layout settings, add a padding of 20 pixels up and down and 30 right and left, and give it rounded corners of 10 pixels. Finally, turn this button into a component by pressing on the Create Component key. Now, when you copy this component, you'll create an instance of it. So if we have multiple instances of this component, if I need to update all these instances, I don't need to select each one and update it. I just update the main component, and then the change will immediately take place. The header also includes the main pages of the website. So grab the text tool again by pressing the T key and write page. This will be the component for the pages. Now change it to bold, size 25, and the fill color to a gray color. And press Shift A to add an auto layout frame around it and call it page. And finally turn it into a component. Now to create the actual header, grab an instance from the home button and an instance from the page. Select them both and press Shift A to add an auto layout around both of them and name this auto layout header. Now center the alignment and create another 2 pages by selecting the page and pressing Command C, Command V, Command C, Command V. Select all 3 pages by pressing and holding the Shift key, then pressing on them, and add an auto layout frame around those pages alone by pressing Shift A and name it pages. We do this to be able to control the distance between the pages separately from the home button. I'll change the distance between them to 20 pixels and change the alignment of the header frame to space between. And let's name the pages. So this will be the self page, and this will be the dev page, and this will be the about page. Finally, turn the header into a new component and take an instance of it and drop it into our frame. So now the header component has inside of it nested home button and page components. Next we'll work on the footer. It will have text and the social icons. So write your text. I'll grab mine from my website, get back to our Figma file, press the T key to grab a text box and Command V to paste the text inside. I will press enter here to break the line. Change the size to 14 pixels regular and the fill color to white. For the social media icons, we'll grab them from the community. So get back to files and press on community, and in the search bar write social icons, and you'll find icons created by Figma users. Find a file that suits your design. This is the file I used. Open it to make sure that it is what you're looking for. Like and comment be nice, and then duplicate the file, and you will find it inside your drafts folder. I've already duplicated it, so I'm not going to duplicate it again, and here it is. So I'll open it and choose the icons that you want. I will just go for the YouTube and Instagram icons. So select the YouTube icon, press and hold the shift key, then select the Instagram icon, then press Command C to copy, get back to our file and press Command V to paste the icons. They're already components. Remove this turquoise color and give them a white color instead. We have the component selected, but inside the components there's the vector, so press enter to select the vector. Make sure that you constrain the proportions and then set the height to 30. Turn their frames into auto layout frames by pressing Shift A, and then grab an instance of each and put it next to the text. Select the text and the social icons and press Shift A to add auto layout to it and name it footer. We want the spacing between the icons to be different, so select them both and add yet another auto layout to them and call it social, and change the distance between them in the auto layout settings to 20, maybe 15. Select the footer and align to center, and then make the items alignment space between so that the footer would spread to take the width of the whole frame. Select the footer again and turn it into a component by pressing create component. Take an instance of it and drop it into our frame. Don't worry about placement for now, we'll take care of this in a minute. So I want to create a call to action to my YouTube channel in the landing page. The call to action will have a button and then text next to it. So I press the T key to grab the text tool and write the text of the button, which is the name of the channel. I will set the text to Roboto, medium, 14 pixels. Let's make it bold. I press Shift A to add an auto layout around it, and I will call the frame call to action button. I'll add a fill to it and give it a red color and give the frame a padding of 25 above and below and 30 right and left. Give it rounded corners of 10 pixels. Then I will grab an instance of this YouTube icon and put it next to the text. I will select the call to action button and center everything. I will turn the color of this YouTube icon to black. I will press enter to select the stroke, turn it to 2 pixels. Here there will be text next to the button, so I'll press the T key to grab the text tool, and I will write my text, and it will just say exploring Figma UI and UX. Maybe I'll break here. So I'll turn this text into Poppins black and give it size 45 and a line height of 45 pixels, and then press the I key to get the eyedropper tool and press on the button to grab the same color size. Now I will select both the text and the call to action button and add an auto layout around them and call this auto layout call to action. Center things, maybe make the spacing 20. Finally I will select the call to action and turn it into a component. Then I will grab an instance of it and drop it into our design file. So now we have the header, the footer, and the call to action, and we need to grab the text of the body from the website. So I'll just head to my website and copy each paragraph on its own. So just copy this line, get back here, get the text tool by pressing the T key and pressing Command V to paste the text. I will select the text box and change the font to Montserrat, regular line size 20 and line height 32. I will turn this into a style by pressing here. So I'll just save this style. So whenever I have a body of text that I want to have this specific style, I can just give it the name body. And when I select the style body, it will have the exact same style. I'll copy the rest of the text, press the D key to grab the text tool, Command V. It already has the body style, and I can resize it to fit inside our frame. Next, we're going to use auto layout to align the elements inside the page. So I'm going to select the image, press Shift A to add an auto layout around it and name it to image. Then select the text and call to action. Press Shift A to add an auto layout around them and call this auto layout frame body. Finally, select the body, the header and the footer and press Shift A to add an auto layout around them, call it content, and select the content and the image, add one final auto layout around them and call it main. Now this main layout, let's just grab it, make it fit our page. We're going to use constraints on it, so constrain it to top and bottom, left and right. So no matter what the size of the frame is, it will remain on top. Select the content frame and change it to fill container horizontally, fill container vertically. Open its auto layout alignment settings and give it a padding of 50 top and bottom and to the left, and change the alignment from pack to space between. For the footer, select it and change it from fixed width to fill container, and the header the same thing, from fixed width to fill container horizontally and vertically hugging the content. As for the body, horizontally set it to fill container and vertically set it also to fill container, and set the distance between the item of it to 50. Select the content frame and instead of a fixed distance between the elements, set it to 50. Select the body and make it fill container instead of fixed height. So to revise, the main auto layout frame is going to be constrained to top, bottom, right, left, and it will have padding of 0 and 0 spacing between items. The content will be set to fill container horizontally and fill container vertically, space between and 50 top, left and bottom. Footer will be set to space between, 0 padding, fill container horizontally, hug content vertically. Header the same as footer. And the body will leave a distance of 50 between the items inside this auto layout. The resizing will be fill container horizontally. It should be also fill container vertically, and the items will be centered and packed. Now for the final touches, we can add an effect above our main frame. Grab a rectangle by pressing the R key, click outside of the layer, check the size of our frame, 1440 width and 900 height, 1440 and 900. Give the same size to the rectangle and grab the rectangle from the layers panel. Lock the main frame and grab the rectangle and place it above it. Let's constrain this rectangle to top and bottom, left and right, so that it stays stuck on the frame no matter what the size is. Now let's set this rectangle layer to multiply, and instead of a solid color, let's give it a linear gradient. You can play with this till you find something that works for you. When you're done, lock the effect layer and unlock the main layer. What we can also do is that we can turn this rectangle into a component, so that when we adjust the effect on the landing desktop page, it changes for all the other pages. So lock it, unlock the main page. Now to have a better look at the page and see if there are errors or things you want to adjust, you can zoom in on the page and press Command / to toggle the UI on and off and have a better look at it. Or you can just select the frame and present it as a prototype. What I might like to do is to increase the size of the social buttons and maybe make the pages closer together and maybe just a little bit smaller. So I will adjust these, and then we move on to the tablet desktop frame. So as you can see, I just adjusted the components. The changes took place here in the footer and then took place also here in the instance of the footer. And as for the page, I can press enter to grab the text, maybe make it 15. And I can also select these pages and make the distance between them 10. That looks okay for now. Now we'll create a landing page design for a tablet device. Let's copy the landing page. So select it, press and hold the Alt key and grab it. From the layers panel, move it to the bottom and rename it to landing tablet. While the landing tablet frame is selected, change the frame to a tablet device. I will go with the iPad Pro 11-inch. Now as the width of the device gets smaller, we're going to drop the image. So from the layers panel, select the image auto layout frame and delete it by pressing on the backspace button. Select the content frame and in the design panel, auto layout settings, go to the alignment and padding settings and add a padding of 50 to the right. Maybe we could push the text up a little bit. So select the body auto layout frame and in the alignment settings, add padding to the bottom. While having the body frame selected, press enter to select all the content inside of it and change the width to fill container. Now to have a better feel for the design we presented inside a device, so press on the canvas, then switch to prototype settings and set the device instead of none to an iPad 11-inch. Now select the tablet frame and present it. And by having a look at your design inside an actual device, you can have a better idea of how the design would look like when used in real life. And now we'll move on to the landing mobile frame. Now we'll work on the mobile page, so copy the tablet frame by pressing and holding the Alt key and grabbing it. Again, bring it to the bottom of the layers panel and rename it to landing mobile. Select the frame, go to the design panel and change the frame to a phone device. I will go with the iPhone 13 mini. Everything is broken, so we're going to create variants for our components to fix this. So we'll begin by creating a variant to the call to action. So go to the call to action component, select it, and from the design panel under call to action, press on the plus button next to variants to add a new variant. Name the new variant to mobile, select the text and change its size to 25 pixels and the line height to 30 pixels. Center the text, select the call to action button and in its auto layout settings, change the padding to 20 right and left and 15 top and bottom. Select the text and change its size to 12 pixels. Select the YouTube vector, detach it from its main component. Make sure to constrain the proportions and change the height to 30. Now select the mobile variant and change the elements inside of its auto layout settings to vertical direction and change the space between the items to 10. Now head to the mobile frame, select the call to action by double clicking and change its property 1 to mobile. Next select the text of the body, detach the style and change it to 16 pixels. Again, detach this one and change it to 16 pixels. Select the body frame and instead of a space between items of 50 pixels, make it 20. Next we'll have to create variants for the header and the footer. It's a mobile variant for the header, so go to the home button component and then press on the plus key next to variants to add a new variant and change the property 1 to mobile. In the auto layout settings, change the margin to 15 top and bottom. Select the button, the mobile variant, and press enter to select its text and change the text size to 20. Now let's select the header component. Add a new variant, call it mobile, grab an instance of the mobile home button by selecting it and pressing and holding the Alt key and drop it into the header and delete the other button. Now select the header in our landing mobile layer and change it to mobile. And as you can see, there's not enough space for the pages. So we're going to create a burger menu instead of the pages. To create the burger menu, press the P key to grab the pen tool. Press once, and press shift, and press again, and when you're done, press on the done button. Let's make the width of this line 50 for now, we can adjust this later. Let's make the stroke white, maybe give this stroke a size of 5 pixels. And instead of making the stroke white, let's make it the same size as the page, so select it, press the I key to get the eyedropper tool, and press on the page to get same color. From the stroke options, press on this drop down menu that says start point and then select round to give our stroke rounded corners. Copy the stroke by pressing and holding the Alt key 2 times. Maybe make the one in the middle a little bit smaller so I can select this side, press and hold the Shift key and push it inside a little bit. Select the 3 strokes and press Shift A to add an auto layout frame around them and call it burger. Perhaps this distance can be reduced to 10. Nope, let's leave the distance as 15. Press the Enter key to select the strokes and maybe make them 8 pixels. Now select the burger, auto layout frame and turn it into a component. Then grab an instance of it and drop it inside our mobile header, select the pages and delete them. Now let's have a look at our landing mobile frame. Okay, this looks okay for now. So now let's work on the footer. Select the footer component and add a new variant for it and call it mobile, and change the direction to vertical from the auto layout panel, and instead of space between, set it to packed. Give yourself a bit more space. Let's select the canvas itself, so press on the canvas and change the background to a darker color so that we would be able to see the white colored things. Now back to our footer. Select the mobile variant. In the constraints and resizing, change the height constraints to hug contents. Make the distance between items 15. Then select the social buttons by double clicking on them and then push them upwards using the arrow keys. Now let's go to our landing mobile, select the footer and change the property 1 to mobile. The text is pushed a little bit upwards because we pushed it here for the tablet. So select the body frame, go to margins and then set this 100 margin to 0. Maybe let's make this distance 20 instead of 15. And finally, let's present our device, but before we do this, press on the canvas, switch to prototype settings by pressing Shift E and change the device to an iPhone 13 mini. And select our frame and present it. This looks okay. Maybe we can change the footer to the same color as the pages and the burger menu. So let's get back to our design. Select the mobile footer, back to design, make sure that everything is centered. Let's select our footer and YouTube icons and change the color to the same as the pages. Let's have a look at the design. We have finished the landing page, so next we have the dev page. This page has a title and a list of articles, besides the header and the footer. So get back to our Figma file and copy the landing page, pressing and holding the Alt key and grabbing it. Reorder the layers and rename it to Dev Desktop. Select the image frame and delete it. Select the content frame and add a padding of 50 to the right. Leave the body frame but delete its content. Now we're going to create a component for the title and we'll create a component for the article link. So grab the text tool and write the name of the title. Figma gave it the body text style, so detach it. Change the font to Poppins, size 45, black. Let's give it the same red color of the call to action button. Grab the text tool again to write the subtitle. Make it Monstrat, size 20, regular, and leave it as white. Finally, grab the line tool or the pen tool and draw a line while pressing the Shift key to make it straight and make its width 800 pixels. Turn the stroke white and make it size 0.5. Now select all 3, add an auto layout frame around them, set the space between them to 15 pixels and turn this frame into a component and name it title. Now grab an instance of it and drop it into the body frame. Select the body frame, go to the alignment settings and make it top left. It's too close to the header, so select the body frame again and add a padding of 50 pixels above it. Now let's create the article link. So I will just grab an instance of the title component and from here I will press on the instance and detach it. So now it's not related to the title component anymore. I will name it article link. Have a look at my website, get the title of the first article, get cheat sheet March 30, 2021, and update the text. Maybe add the name of the author. I also changed the title size to 30 and the subtitle to 15. Maybe the line height will be 10, and here the line height 32 is okay. I'll give the subtitle the red color. I'll change the color of this to something else. I'll just try a couple of colors and see what works. Leave the distance between items as 15. Now I will select the article link and I will turn this into a component and grab an instance of it by selecting it, pressing and holding the Alt key, and I will drop it underneath the title inside the body frame. I will have a list of articles, so I will select the article link and then I will copy and paste it multiple times by pressing Command C, Command V, Command C, Command V, Command C, Command V multiple times. Our dev desktop frame is set to clip content, so if there is content that is extending outside of it, it will clip it, so it will not show. If we deselect this, you will see the articles blowing out. Maybe we can edit some of the article names so that we can check how it would work with longer names. So I can copy the names from here. Then I will select the dev desktop and clip the content again. I will also select the body frame and clip the content. While I have the body frame selected, I will switch to prototype settings by pressing Shift E, and underneath overflow scrolling, it says no scrolling, so I will turn it into vertical scrolling. So when there is something that is overflowing out of this frame, you can scroll vertically over it. Now let's present our device, but before we do this, press on the canvas and set the device to none again, then select our frame and present it. And as you can see, I can scroll over the articles, no problem. One last thing, you can see that the items inside the body frame are set to hug contents. It's not obvious right now, but it's going to create problems for us when the frame is smaller. So let's just select the body frame, press enter to select all the elements inside of it, and at the resizing properties, change the width from hug content to fill container. Nothing is going to happen here, but it's going to save us some trouble when we're working on smaller width sizes. Next, let's work on the tablet. So copy the dev desktop frame, pressing and holding the Alt key and grabbing it. Organize your layers and then call it dev tablet. Change the frame to an iPad Pro 11-inch. Our articles are set to fill container. So we have a problem here. The article is too close to the footer. So let's select the content frame, the one that holds the footer, the body, and the header, and add a spacing between items of 50 pixels. Now let's press on the canvas, go to prototype settings, select an iPad Pro 11-inch, select our dev tablet and present it. Everything looks fine except that the titles are pushed a little bit outside of the when they shouldn't, because we've already set them to fill container. So maybe we should select the text and change the width resizing to fill container as well. Now the problem is fixed. Now for the mobile, let's copy the dev page, order and rename to dev mobile. Select the dev mobile and change the frame to an iPhone 13 mini. Select the header and change its property 1 to mobile. Select the footer and change its property 1 to mobile as well. Maybe for mobile, we can set the left and right margins for the content frame to 15 instead of 25 and just try things out. Now press on the canvas, prototype, select an iPhone 13 mini, select the dev mobile and present it. This seems okay, but the titles perhaps are a little bit big for the device size. So let's get back to the article link component, get back to design settings and create a new variant, call it mobile. And let's adjust the text of the article title to 20, maybe line height 22. Perhaps the distance we can set it to 10. Now let's get back to the mobile frame, and in the layers panel to select all the articles inside the body frame. So just select the first one, go to the last one just before the title, press and hold the shift key and select it. Now you have all the article selected and change the property to mobile. Let's go to the prototype and see if this is better or not. This looks much better, but perhaps we return the spacing as it was, maybe 15. Okay, this looks better. Let's move on. Next, we'll create a page for one of the articles. This is a prototype, not a real website or app, so no need to create a page for each article, just one to show how an article page should look like. So we'll design a frame for the first one. So the article page has a title and a subtitle, an image, and then the article itself. So back to our Figma file. Let's copy the dev desktop frame. Press and hold the Alt key, grab it, order, and rename to article desktop. We'll delete the content of the body frame. Here's the body frame. We'll delete the content of it except for the title. So I can select the first one, press and hold the Shift key, then select the last one, then backspace to delete it. The title of the article page is going to be different than a normal page. So let's go to the title component, add a new variant, and call it article. Let's edit the text with the title of the article and the subtitle. Let's delete the line. So select the line and press the backspace to delete it. Now the title is going to have an image. So go to the shape tools, place image, select an image from your computer and press to place it. With the constraint proportions checked, change the width of the image to 500 pixels and give it rounded corners of 10. Grab the image and drop it into our component. Give yourself more space. Okay, select it. This component already has auto layout, so select it and push it down below the title and subtitle. Select the article component and center everything in the middle. Let's also select the text and center it as well. Now let's go to the article desktop frame. Double click till you select the title and change its property 1 to article. Now for the article's text, we can copy the text of the whole article and place it into a text box, then start editing it and giving text styles. But text styles are limited and we're not going to be able to create something that has a background like these code blocks. So we're going to use components instead, and we're also going to use text styles, combining them both together. So I'll just have to design each element inside of the article, because it's a part of the design process how the article is going to look like. So I will start by copying this header, Command C to copy it, then get back to the Figma file, press T to grab the text box, and then Command V to paste it. And I will give it font type Poppins, size 30, bold, and leave the color, the fill color white. And I can turn this into a style and call it H2. And whenever I want to set text to this style, I can choose the H2 style. Let's copy this text box, go to the website and copy this list of links and then paste it here. Now align the text to the left and detach this style. Let's make it size 20, regular monstrat, and let's make it a bullet list. Let's set this style to list. So create a new style and call it list. Let's give it blue color. We can also change this color later if it's not working well. We can also turn this color into a style and call it link, and we can edit it from here. Let's select both of these text boxes and add an auto layout layer around them and call it article. And let's reduce distance between the items to 25. Here we have something like a call out, so we're going to have to create a component for that. Press Command V to paste it here. Add an auto layout layer around it by pressing Shift A and call it call out. Give it a fill. Let's make it for now just the same color as this red YouTube color. Let's make the padding 30 pixels all around and give it rounded corners of 10. Perhaps text size medium. Now let's turn this into a component and let's grab an instance of it. Let's drop it inside our article and push it in its proper place. Then we have another H2, so let's copy and paste this one, Command C, Command V, and then using the arrow keys, push it down in place and update the text to configure. Then we have a code block. Code block is going to be almost the same design as this one, yet with a different color. So let's take an instance of the callout, detach it, and change the color to some gray color and the text to white. Rename it to code block and turn it into a component. Grab an instance of it and drop it into the article and push it down in place. Now let's go to the article, copy the code and paste it. And I will continue to create the rest of the article. Is going to be mainly made up of code blocks and H2. Copy, Command C, paste the text, Command V. Again, copy, Command C, paste the text, Command V. Copying everything exactly the same way is not necessary. I just need to recreate something that looks like the real article and present it. And this is a list, not a linked list, just a list. So I will just copy the linked list above, paste it, and push it all the way down. And then I will just detach this style, and then I will turn the text white. So it's a list, but now it does not have the link color. And as for the link, I just copied its text into an H2. Now I will change it from H2 to body, but then I will add the color of the link to it. More code blocks, Command C, Command V, push down in place. Let's place it up here. So in order to be able to edit the article easier, because it will be outside of the frame, I will turn it into a component. I will grab an instance of it here, then I will take this instance and take it down to our frame and put it underneath the title. And it's obviously extending outside of the frame. So I will select the article and change its resizing width to fill container. And let's set our device to none, select our frame and present it, and let's have a look at it and see. Things look okay, but some of the code blocks, the text is extending outside of it, so we can't read it, and some are small, some are long, and this looks a bit ugly. So let's get back to our design. Let's just select the article, press enter to select everything inside the article and set it to fill container. Let's look at the prototype and see if this will solve the issue. It did, but we have a new problem now, is that some of the text is getting centered. You can also align the text to left, and this fixed the problem. Of course, everything is editable, so you can edit the component and change the link color if you don't think it's suitable. And the H2 and the code blocks, maybe they need to get a little bit smaller. Also, this one is supposed to be an H2. Right. Next, we need to solve the issue of the code getting cut off. So we need to be able to scroll horizontally to see the areas that we cannot read. So I will select the instance of the callout and the instance of the code block. I will switch to prototype, and I will set overflow scrolling to horizontal scrolling, and I will see if this will fix the problem. Now let's create the tablet frame. So copy the article desktop frame by pressing and holding the Alt key and grabbing it. Order the layers and rename it to article tablet. Then change the frame to iPad Pro 11-inch. Press outside of our frame anywhere on the canvas. Switch to prototype by pressing Shift E and set the device to an iPad Pro 11-inch. Select the article tablet and present it, and let's see. For the mobile, again copy the article tablet frame by pressing and holding the Shift key, the Alt key, and putting it into place. Order and rename to Article Mobile and change the device to iPhone 13 mini. I have a couple of problems here, but first let's select the header by double clicking and change its property 1 to mobile. Select the footer and change its property to mobile, and select the content frame and change the alignment, the padding left and right to 15. We're going to create a new variant for the article title for mobile. So go back to the title component, click on the article title, then press on the plus button to add a new variant and call this variant mobile or article mobile. Select the image by double clicking on it and make sure the constraint proportions is checked and change its width to 250. Then select both text boxes and set their horizontal resizing to fill container. Now let's go to the article mobile page, double click till you select the title or select it from the layers panel, and then change its property 1 to article mobile. Then press anywhere on the canvas, Shift E to grab the prototype settings, and then change the device to an iPhone 13 mini. Select the article mobile frame and present it. Let's have a look at it. The first mistake is the line height on the title needs to increase a little bit. I can scroll down, I can scroll horizontally to see the code. No other problems. So just go to the title component, then to the mobile title, select the text of the title, get back to design and change the line height to 45 or maybe 40. Let's have a look at it, and it's looking good. Now the final page that we have is the about page. So get back to our Figma file, copy the article desktop frame, grab it, press and hold the Alt key and put it in place. Order the layers and rename it to about desktop. Now we're going to delete the article but leave the title as it is. I'll select the title and change its property to default. We don't need the subtitle or the line, so let's create a new component. Let's go to the title component and create a new component. First select the default component, then press on the plus button and remove the articles, remove the line, and call this variant plain or default plain. Let's select the about title and then make a default plain, and let's edit it to about. So let's go to the about page. We have a heading. Let's put the content outside of the frame. So grab the text tool and paste the heading in it, and just make sure that it's from the styles that I set it to H2. Then we have a list. So I will just copy the content here, grab text tool and paste it, and then choose the text and turn it into a list. For some reason it does not add the bullets, so I'll just have to do it myself. And then again, I can just drop this directly into the body frame. This is supposed to be H2. Okay, so we're going to need another heading here. So Command C, Command V, and push it down in place. It's going to be called dev. So you can write it or just copy and paste. And we're going to have another list. So Command C, Command V, push it using the arrow keys in place. We can come here, copy this text and paste. If you want to mark the space of the links here, you can select the text that is supposed to be a link and then change the fill color from the styles to link, and Jekyll Minima theme also to link. I think this link color is not very good, but you can change this easily. And then we have another H2, so I will just copy the dev heading, Command C, Command V, and push it with the arrow keys. I would copy this list, Command C, Command V, push it with the arrow keys, then go to the website and copy the text, Command C, come back to the Figma page, select the text, and then Command V. Now I cannot see it because the body frame is clipping the content that is flowing outside. That's why it's easier to edit it out. So I will remove this checkbox for now. I also select the frame and remove the clip content from it just for now. And then again, we have another H2 heading, so Command C, Command V, and push it down in place. Get back to the website, scuba diving, so copy it and select the header, paste the text, and we're going to copy this list as well one last time. Command C, Command V, push it with the arrow keys, go back to the website, copy and paste, remove the extra space. And now that we're done, we can select the body frame again and clip content. We can select the desktop frame itself and clip the content. Now we can already see that the spacing between the items is just too much. So we can select the body and make the spacing maybe 20. Obviously the article is too close, but we can add a padding to it of 30 maybe, just to push things down a bit. And then we can select, first let's click on our canvas, go back to prototype settings, and then set the device to none, and then select the about desktop and present it, and let's have a look at it. Okay, this looks fine, but for some reason this has a link color. So let's select it, get back to design by pressing Shift E, and detach the instance and change the color to white. If you want to, like this, these are supposed to be links, so you can give them individually the link style. And if you think that this link color is not working well, so you can, by clicking on the canvas, you can see all the styles that you have, so we can edit it, and you can see that it's changing already, so we can remove the interface just for a second to have a look at it, turn it, and just play with it till you find something that you think is working well. Anyway, I will just leave it like this, and let's move on to the tablet frame. So again, copy the About Desktop frame and put the frame in place and rename it to About Tablet, and change the frame to iPad Pro 11-inch. Press on the canvas, Shift E to go to prototype settings, set the device to an iPad Pro 11-inch, select our About Tablet frame and present it. I think it looks okay. Maybe you can add a little bit of space over here, but I will leave it like this for now. And also we forgot to remove the link style from this last text box. Now moving on to the mobile frame, copy the About Tablet frame by pressing and holding the Alt key, organize, rename to About Mobile, and change the frame to an iPhone 13 mini. Double click to select the header and change its property 1 to mobile. Double click to select the footer and change its property 1 to mobile. Press on the canvas, Shift E to switch to prototype and change the device to iPhone 13 mini. And select our frame and present it. It looks okay, but some of the text boxes are flowing outside. So select our mobile frame, get back to design, select the content frame first and change the right and left margins to 15 and 15. Select the body frame, then press enter to select everything inside of it and change its resizing width to fill container. And let's see. This is much better, but list items are too close to each other. So let's select this. Supposedly has a list style. So let's click on the canvas and edit the list style and change the paragraph spacing to 20 maybe. Okay, let's change the list spacing to 20. Now let's look at our prototype, and you can see that there is a space between each item in the list. We will start working on the prototype. We will start with the header. Everything that is interactive or clickable will have a hover or press animation to make it more interesting to click and more obvious that it is clickable. The header has a default variant. The default variant will be the header for all the desktop designs, and we will set the navigation and the hover animation on it, and it will work on all the desktop frames. So to begin, switch to prototype mode by pressing Shift E. Let's work on navigation first. So select the home button inside the default header variant. You'll see a node with a plus sign inside. Press on it and hold while dragging the arrow towards the landing desktop page. The interaction details will pop out from the prototype panel. Leave it set to on tap and the animation to instant. So when we tap on the home button, it will navigate to the landing page with an instant animation. The self page is just a filler. So as we said, this is a prototype, not a real application, so not everything needs to be clickable. We just need to show what will happen when we click. And the dev page, I will double click to get the dev page, and then I will grab and connect to the dev desktop frame. Again, on tap, navigate to dev desktop, and the animation is instant. Now select the about page frame. We can drag and drop from here, or we can press on the plus sign here and then define the interaction details. So on tap, navigate to, and then about desktop with an instant animation. The only other navigation here in the desktop designs is the article. So not all the articles will have navigation, just the first one to show what an article will look like. So just select the first article and then grab the link towards the article page. Now press on the canvas and set the device to none, and then select the first frame and present to see if the interactions are working properly for the desktop designs. When you press anywhere on the page, it just shows you the parts that are clickable on the page. So if I press on the dev button, it will take me to the dev page. If I press about, it will take me to the about page. You can go to the dev page again from here, and I can go to the home page from anywhere. Now we also want these buttons to hover when we click on them. So go to the home button and select the default button and add a new variant and name it hover. And let's switch the colors. And then select the default button, switch back to the prototype settings, and connect the default to the hover. And the interaction will be on click change to, so this button will be changed to this one, hover with an instant animation. So if we get back to the prototype and reload the page, I'll select the default home button switch to prototype by pressing Shift E, and connect the default to the hover button. And the interaction will be on click change to the hover with an instant animation. So let's change on click to while hovering. Let's go to the prototype and check. So when I hover above it, whatever page I'm at, it will change to this animation, to this different frame. So let's go to the prototype and check if it's working, and it is. Whichever page I'm at, when I hover above it, it will change to the hover frame. Now, when I hover above the pages, they should also change. Now select the page component. Get back to design by pressing Shift E. Add a new variant and call it hover, and change the text to white. And select the default. Press Shift E to switch to prototype and connect the default to the hover, and change the interaction from on click to while hovering. Now go to the prototype and check, and it's working. Now we're done with the desktop header. Let's just focus on the desktop first, and then we can move to mobile and tablet. Next we have the footer. So the footer has social media icons, and these are going to be the interactive part. When I hover above them, there will be an instant animation, and when I click on them, they will take me to a link. So I will select the Instagram social icon, and I will add a variant to it, and I will call it hover. I'll press enter to select the vector, then I will add a fill to it, and I will change its color to something that looks like the Instagram color. And for the YouTube icon, I will also add a variant, call it hover, and I'll press enter to get the vector part of it, and I will add a fill, and I will change the color of the fill to this red color that we have over here. I will select the Instagram icon, press Shift E to switch to prototype, and I will connect it to the hover frame, and I will set it to while hovering. And again with the YouTube icon, connect it and set it to while hovering. The other thing I can do is that since when I hover above this icon, it will change its frame to this frame. If I want to set a link here, I can add an interaction, and then I can set the interaction manually. So on click, I can choose open link, and then I can add the page that I want to open here. So I'll just grab the link and I will paste it here. And the same for YouTube. So I will add an interaction and set it manually on click, open link, and I will paste the link to YouTube here. Now I'll do the same with YouTube, so I will just add a link and paste it here. Now let's look at the prototype. So if I hover above these buttons, they will change. And if I click on the Instagram, it will open the Instagram page, and if I click on YouTube, it will also open the YouTube page. The next thing we can do is that when you hover above this call to action, it will animate, and we can also add a link to it to the YouTube channel. So let's go to the call to action and select the default call to action. Switch back to design by pressing Shift E, add a new variant and call it hover, and change the red color of the text to white. Then select the button and press enter to select what is inside it, and then change the color of the black text and icon to white as well. Select the default call to action, press Shift E to switch to prototype, and then connect the default to the hover. And again, the interaction is going to be while hovering, change to this frame. We can also select the hover frame and add an interaction to it, and set this interaction to on click, open link, and paste a link in it. So getting back to the prototype, when I hover above it, it will change. If I click on it, it will navigate. And if we go to the dev page, again, the footer will be working, about page, footer working, and the home button is working as well. The only thing that is left for the desktop is the article title. We want to set it to hover. We've already set its link to navigate to the article desktop page. So we will go to the article link, choose the default, and add a new variant. Switch back to design and call this variant hover. Now when we hover above it, everything will be white. So let's change all the colors to white. And then let's connect the default to the hover. So select the default, press Shift E to bring the prototype up, and then connect it to the hover, and then set the interaction to while hovering. Change to the hover frame with an instant interaction. Now let's get back to our prototype. Let's head to the dev page, and when we hover above any of the links, they will change to the hover state. And that's it for the desktop. Now for the tablet, we're going to have to create a new header variant and call it tablet. First off, because we have set hover animation on the default header, and you cannot hover inside a tablet, so we need to set these animation to work when we press, while we are pressing, not hovering. Second, because we've already used the header, the default header, to connect the pages to the desktop pages. So we need a new header for the tablet to connect the pages to the tablet pages instead. So select the default header and press on add a new variant and call it tablet. They will look exactly the same, but they will just do different things. So first off, let's set the connections, the navigation. So switch to prototype by pressing Shift E and then select the interaction and leave it as on click navigate to, but instead of landing desktop, make it landing tablet. And for the dev page, again, do the same thing. On click navigate to, instead of dev desktop, it will be dev tablet. And the about page, select the about frame, and then instead of on click navigate to about desktop, it will be navigate to about tablet. One last thing for the tablet navigation is choosing the very first article and then connecting it to the article tablet page. Now we have finished the tablet navigation and we can work on the hovering states. Again, we're going to have to create a new variant of the home button for the tablet, even though they will look exactly the same, but the interaction on them will be different. So add a new variant, switch back to design Shift E and call it tablet. Switch back to prototype and change this. It's already connected to the default hover, but we will change the interaction from while hovering to while pressing. Then we will get back to design and then copy this tablet variant by selecting it and pressing Command C. Then go to the tablet header and press Command V to paste it and remove the other home button. Next, go to the header inside the landing tablet page and change its property 1 from default to tablet. Again, go to the dev page, select the header and change it from default to tablet. The article page, select the header and change it from default to tablet. Finally, the about page and change property 1 from default to tablet. Now we can present the design. So click on the canvas, go to prototype and set the device to iPad Pro 11-inch. And go to the landing tablet page and present. We're just checking on the header, so press and hold the home button and you can see the interaction. We also have to do the same with the page. So select the default page and add a new variant to it. Switch back to design and call this variant, or let's just call it tablet, but it's going to be the same for tablet and mobile. Switch back to prototype and then change the hover interaction to pressing interaction. Then select all of the pages inside the tablet header, switch back to design and change them from default to tablet. Again, go to the prototype and let's check this. So if I hover above them, nothing is happening. I have to press on the home button to press on the self page, press on the dev page, about page, and the navigation. I can switch here between 100% display, which is zoomed in, or scaled down to fit so I can see the whole device. Okay, so the animation is working. When I press and hold, the hover animation is working. The dev navigation, about navigation is working. The article navigation is working, but the home button navigation is not. So let's get back to the design. Select the home button inside the tablet, press Shift E, and then grab it and connect it to the landing page. Leave it as on tap, navigate to with an instant navigation. And now the home button navigation is working. Next, the call to action need to be changed to on press or while pressing, and the footer also needs to be changed to while pressing instead of hovering. So let's start with the call to action. Go to the call to action component, add a new variant, switch to design, Shift E, call it tablet, then switch to prototype again, Shift E, and change the interaction from while hovering to while pressing. Go to the call to action inside the landing tablet frame, switch to design, Shift E, and keep double clicking till you select the call to action and change it from default to tablet. Let's check the prototype quickly. So when I press on it, it changes to the hover and takes me to the link. Now let's work on the footer. So create a new variant for the Instagram icon and call it tablet. We will use this one for tablet and for mobile later. And for the YouTube icon, again, create a new variant and call it tablet, and switch to prototype, Shift E, select the YouTube icon and change the interaction from while hovering to while pressing, select the Instagram and change the interaction from while hovering to while pressing as well. Now we need to create a new footer just for the tablet, so add a new variant, switch back to design, call it tablet, and select these two social icons and change them from default to tablet, and this one from default to tablet. We have to go to the tablet devices and change all the footers from default to tablet. This one also, just keep double clicking, then change from default to tablet. Here as well, double clicking, then change from default to tablet. And here, double click and change from default to tablet. Now let's check the prototype. So when I'm hovering above them, nothing is happening. And when I click on them, you can see, and with a call to action as well, it's working. Now the only thing that is left is to work on the article link. So go to the article link component, create a new variant, call it tablet, and switch back to prototype and change it from while hovering to while pressing. Switch back to design and go to the dev tablet page and select all the articles. So select the last article, press and hold shift key and select the first article without the title and change the property one of the article link to tablet. Now if we switch to the prototype, now when I hover above the articles nothing is happening, but if I click on them they are animating to the hover state. And that's it for the tablet. And we'll start with the header as well. So go to the home button component, select the mobile variant and press on add new variant and call it mobile hover and switch the colors. Select the mobile variant. Press Shift E to grab the prototype and connect the mobile variant to the mobile hover and change the interaction from on tap to while pressing, change to mobile hover frame with an instant interaction. You can also play with the animation if you want to, but let's just stick to instant and make it simple. Next, go to the header component and to the mobile variant. Select the home button inside the header component and switch to prototype, and then add an interaction to it on tap, navigate to, and choose landing mobile. So now it will be connected to the landing mobile page. Now the mobile does not have space for pages and it has a burger menu instead. So we're going to create a new frame that is going to hold a menu. So copy the about mobile frame next to it, pressing and holding the Alt key and grabbing it and set it as the last frame and rename it to nav mobile. Now the nav mobile will have no body, so we'll just select the body frame and delete it. Select the content frame, open the alignment settings and set it to space between instead of packed. And the header of this frame, we're going to create a variant for it now. Select the header component, then the mobile header variant, and then create a new variant out of that. And let's call it mobile nav. Let's select the header frame and give ourselves more space here. And select the mobile nav, and in the auto layout settings change it to vertical direction and change it from space between to packed. Grab a copy of the pages from the tablet design, grab an instance of it outside, and then change also the direction between them to vertical, and grab them and drop them inside our nav page. Select the burger menu and remove it. Select the pages and center them. Now we'll just need to create a back button. So select the pen tool, press and hold the shift key and just draw a stroke. Make sure the stroke has the same color like the burger menu and make it 7 pixel stroke. It's already rounded corners, and copy this stroke by selecting it, pressing and holding the Alt key, and then turn it around while holding the Shift key. Put it above the other one and center it. Now select both strokes and union the interaction to make them turn into one shape. Press Shift A to put an auto layout frame around them. Call it back button. Turn it into a component. Grab an instance of it and drop it into our nav. Now select the mobile nav. Make sure the frame is set to hug contents and change the space between the items to 20. Maybe this is a little bit large, so select it and make sure to constrain proportions and give it a width of 40. So select our pages, select the dev page, switch to prototype, and since we grabbed them from the tablet header, they are connected to the dev tablet frame. So change the interaction from on tap navigate to dev tablet and make it navigate to dev mobile. And also the same for the about page. Instead of navigate to about tablet, make it to about mobile. And as this for this back button, add an interaction to it, click on it and set it to back. So when you press on it, it will just return to the same page where you pressed from. One final thing is that the burger and the back button, they also need to hover. So select the burger, switch back to design by pressing Shift E, add a new variant, call it hover, change the color to white, then select the default, switch to prototype by pressing Shift E, and connect the default to the hover and set the interaction to while pressing. And the same for the back button. So create a new variant, set the color to white, call this variant hover, select the default, press Shift E and connect the default to the hover and set the interaction to while pressing instead of while hovering. And go to the mobile nav frame and double click to select the header, switch back to design and change the property 1 from mobile to mobile nav. Maybe we need a little bit more space between the items. So get back here, select the mobile nav. Let's make the space 30. Let's present it and see if it will need any adjustments. So before we present it, press on the canvas, switch to prototype, set the device to an iPhone 13 mini, and select our landing mobile and present. Right, so let's check everything. If I hover above, okay, we forgot about the footer. So let's get back here, get back to design by pressing Shift E and select the footer. Go to the footer component, go to the mobile variant, and when you select the social icons, you will see that their property 1 is set to default, so change it to tablet. And the Instagram also change it to tablet. Now if you get back to the prototype and hover above them, nothing will happen. We have to press to see the animation. So go to the call to action component, select the mobile variant, add a new variant and call it mobile hover. Change the red text to white and change the black text and icon to white as well. Switch to prototype and connect the mobile to the mobile hover and change the interaction from on tap to while pressing. Now let's go to our prototype again. If you press on it, it will show the animation. If you press on the burger menu, it will show the animation. If you press on the home button, it will show the animation. If I want to navigate, I have to press on the burger menu. Press on the burger menu, nothing is happening because I did not connect the burger menu to the nav page. So select the burger menu, add an interaction to it, on tap, navigate to, and then choose nav mobile. Go to the prototype again. Now if I press on it, it will take me to the nav mobile page. I'm just checking things are working. If I press back, it should take me to the landing page. If I press on self, I can see the animation. On dev, I can see the animation. So if I go to the dev page, I can see that we forgot to set the hover on the articles as well. And we also didn't set the navigation on the first article. On the about page, it's working. Okay, so let's go to the article link. Switch back to the design by pressing Shift E and select the mobile variant. Then press on add a new variant and call it mobile hover and change everything to white. And go to the dev page, select the very first article by clicking on it, then switch to prototype and then connect it to the article mobile page. On tap, navigate to article mobile. Now let's get back to the prototype. If I press on them, I don't see the animation for some reason, but it does navigate. I didn't make the connection, so connect the mobile to the hover and set the interaction to while pressing. Press on the home page, nav page, go to dev. When I press, it is showing me the animation. If I press on the article, changes to the article page. One thing I don't like is that all the mobile pages have a bit of a smaller text size than the dev and tablet, but when you go to the article page, you can see that the text is much bigger. So this should be addressed, but for now, we're done.